Is this working? I think it's working. There's nobody here yet. It's exactly 8 o'clock, so I'm going to give a couple of minutes for folks to come. Otherwise, this video should be available and you'll be watching it later. There's nobody here yet. It's exactly 8 o'clock, so I'm going to give a couple of minutes for folks to come. Otherwise, this video should be available and you'll be watching it later. Here yet. It's exactly 8 o'clock, so I'm going to give. It just keeps playing my voice. I wonder if I mute myself, if you can still hear me. Hi, there says there's somebody there. Can you hear me? I'm trying to figure out where I would see. Tech is weird. Okay. Hello. Is someone here? Strange. I think this is working. Technology is not always my friend. I think there's a way. I think this is working. Technology. I hope this is working. There should be a way that people who are here can talk and type at me, I think. Oh, yes. Hello. Do you see this? Hello. I hope this is working. Technology is weird. I had to mute myself because it was just replaying like weird audio feedback of me, which is, I hope, not a problem. Excuse the technical errors. I wonder what would happen if I tried to log in from my phone. Wonder what that would do. I'm sorry, this is like the worst start ever for the one person who's here, and I don't know who you are because it just says one viewer on my screen. And I'm not sure if you're able to see what's happening. Okay, so I'm now logging on myself. What happens if I hit play? One viewer on my screen. And I'm not sure if you're able to see. Oh, you can. What's happening? Okay, so I'm now logging on myself. What happens if I hit play? One viewer on my screen. And I'm not sure if you're able to see. So this is working. That is the weirdest darn thing ever. Oh, there's two of you. Hi. For whoever just came on, I'm having all kinds of tech kerfuffle trying. Oh, maybe that second viewer was me. Oh, that's hilarious. So the start of this is funny. I'm hoping that the chatty function part is working so that anybody who has questions can ask them. If you're the one person who's logged on and can see me, let me know you can see. I think there's a chatty thing. I'm unclear. So this is one of, first of all, for everyone watching, thank you so much for supporting my Patreon. Sorry, I'm a little frazzled. Technology. Beep. Thank you so much. And I hope you've been enjoying the stories and different contents. I'm really excited about all the things that are coming. I've got all kinds of plans in the works that I'm super excited about. And yeah, so this I know got scheduled kind of at the last minute. Because I just started my Patreon a couple of weeks ago and I've scheduled like all the different, they're not called prizes. I feel like they're fun things. I don't know, whatever they are called, Patreon stuff at different weeks throughout the month. And so for the first month being February, things are all like kind of a little like stacked together. I wasn't able to give as much notice as I want to about when this Ask Me Anything is going to happen online. But for next month and all the months to come, I will let you know way ahead of time when it's going to be. And I posted this morning. I should have posted it earlier. I'm still figuring out all the pieces of this. Please forgive. I will post that if you're not going to be able to log on. totally legit. But you have questions for me, I still want to answer them because this will be available after the fact. So you don't have to log on when I'm going live. You can see it later and I'll answer all your questions. I'm an open book. I'll answer just about anything. So I posted that this morning and I did get one question posted on it from one of my patrons who wanted to know. Now I'm navigating to the page. Boop, 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 boop. So the question was, I have a question. How do you / what is your advice for keeping yourself in little space despite the world around you? So that's a really good question for thinking about stuff. And this is more of like a leather lifestyle question. Totally allowed, totally happy to talk about like anything. So for me, littleness is really core to how I understand myself, like as an identity, like as a very core identity. Like if I had to pick, like rate, which is bad, I don't want to do that. But if I had to like rate like a hierarchy of my identities, after queer or like right there with queer for me is little. That's a core part of who I am. And for me, what that looks like is that I don't really connect with or identify with the way that I know some littles talk about like going into little space as like divergence from their big self or who they are in the world. For me, I'm always little. It's always just part of who I am. I mean, I have like cartoon characters like tattooed on my arm. Like it's what I lead with in the world, which doesn't mean that I don't do really big things, and I don't like, you know, pay my bills and like until really recently work a really stressful muggle job or talk about politics or queer youth homelessness or all of sort of like those like things that are not like opening cute blind bags, which I might have done right prior to going live with this video. But like, so for me, it's less of a like turning things on and turning things like littleness on and turning littleness off, so much as it is really centering that littleness is who I am and figuring out ways to honor that throughout my day. Particularly if things are rough or heavy or intense, or so that might look like finding time for little self-care, read a picture book, color a picture, set up little scenes with my little toys, which I love to do. And I find it really calming and relaxing. So like things like that, really helpful for me when the world is big and scary and intense, is really remembering that that I can do those things too, that I can carry little friends in my pockets. Femclus don't have pockets. Why do we have pockets? But in my bag, that I can like, you know, pop little cute ice cream people into my bag. And if I'm out in the world or I have to go to like an appointment I don't really want to go to, like I can set them up in cute little scenes like on the sidewalk or on the subway, or I just can know that it's there. Things like that that really help to keep me remembering who I am, because that's important to me. And also part of that is like injecting fun and playfulness into interactions as appropriate. Like obviously there's times that that's not appropriate, but into interactions with people in the world is really important to me, and is part of how I keep connected to being little. I call it like, you know, doing some being good for Santa and doing some of that, like keeping the magic in things is important to me and helps me stay connected to my little self. So I don't know if folks are going to join or not, but this video will be around. So I figured if I didn't get other questions, which I didn't ahead of time, and I think there's one person here, but my hands smell like this blind bag I just opened because they're scented. This is like weird strawberry scented, and this is celery scented, and this is supposed to be waffle scented, but really just it smells like this slime that it came in. Anyway, that is a whole nother video. But my hands smell like it. Anyway, I didn't know if folks were going to come. Or if they would have other questions. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to be sitting here talking to myself. And I mean, that works. I could sit here and have a conversation with myself. But I thought that I would pull up one of those memes that's like a bunch of questions and I would answer those for a bit so that this isn't just a weird video without content. So I searched a few of them. I didn't read all these questions, so they might be weird. But this one seemed to be 50 questions that weren't like written for high school students, which is a totally legit demographic to write mem questions for. But like, have you ever kissed anyone? Do you have a crush on someone? Is not that interesting to me, and probably not to you. Or maybe it is, and you can ask those questions next month, and I will answer them. So 50 good questions to ask yourself and others I found on the internet and emailed to myself, which is what I'm looking at. 1, what are your nicknames? What do you prefer to be called? My name is Sassafras. I don't really like nicknames unless you're really, really close to me, and even then I don't really like nicknames. What books on your shelf are begging to be read? That's really funny. I'm in an MFA program right now, which you probably know. So I'm reading a ton of books. I'm also reading a ton of books for like other projects. So I have a whole bookshelf I'm in fact looking at of books that are begging to be read. Right now I'm reading Neil Gaiman's American Gods, which I'm like attempting to read in like 72 hours. Approximately, give or take. It's really long. It's like 560 pages. Like 400 pages in. Yes. 3, how often do you doodle? What do your doodles look like? I doodle a lot. I really like to doodle. I doodle weird parts of my day. I doodle dogs a lot. I doodle dinosaurs a lot. I don't know what they look like. People tell me they're cute. I wish I was a better visual artist. So, which means I should doodle more because practice makes things look cuter later. Okay. What do you do if you can't sleep at night? Do you count sheep, toss and turn, try to get up and do something productive? So I have a superpower, which is I can basically fall asleep anytime. And the downside of that is I turn into a pumpkin about 10 o'clock. I'm useless after that. But very occasionally, like once a year, maybe twice a year, I can't sleep. I'm unable to fall asleep right away. And basically I'm dramatic and I'm convinced that I'm dying and I'll never sleep again and the world is ending. And I usually like lay there being really, really tragic. Yeah, but I don't count sheep because then I go off on some whole like cute story about sheep and that will never put me to sleep. How many days could you, that's a weird, how many days could you last in solitary confinement? How would you do it? That's a really weird question about the prison industrial complex and punishment and human torture. I would not last long, would be the answer to that. But most people don't do well in those conditions, which is why they're bad and we shouldn't put people in solitary confinement. Do you save old greeting cards and letters or throw them away? I totally save them as long as they're not from awful members of my biological family that sort of stalk me through the postal system. Otherwise, I save them and I put them in my Smash book. I love mail. I love snail mail. And I save them and I save all letters from my pen pals. Who is the biggest pack rat you know? I'm the child of a hoarder. So probably I grew up in a mild, not so mild hoard. When making an entrance to a party, do you make your presence known? Do you slip in and look for someone you know? Do you sneak in quietly and find a safe spot to roost? I go in and look for the dog, and I hang out with the dog. If there's not a dog, I usually hang out in the corner with my phone or look for somebody that I know really, really well and maybe talk to them. Parties are not my strength. Okay. What is your strongest sense? I have no idea. I don't know. I think that my senses are all probably pretty equally functional. but not like exceptionally skilled in any area. How many times a day do you look at yourself in the mirror? I have no idea. When I am in a room with a mirror, I probably have looked at it. I don't know. But like to actually like look in the mirror, probably once when I do my hair, basically, which I did many hours ago, like this morning, because that's the kind of femme I am. What is the strangest thing you believed as a child? Oh my God, I was a super weird kid. I have no clue. I believed many things. Um, I don't know. Lassie was my favorite superhero. I believed in Lassie. Is that weird? Maybe. Um, what is one guilty pleasure you enjoy too much to give up? I try not to feel guilty about the things that I enjoy. I love really bad reality TV. Don't intend to stop watching it. Um, like really bad reality TV, like Toddlers and Tiaras, and pretty much anything that is not a cooking show. I'll watch it. Um, who performs the most random acts of kindness out of everyone you know? Oh, my partner. I mean, if I'm the recipient of, my partner for sure does all kinds of really sweet, kind things. Kestrel's amazing. How often do you read the newspaper? Which paper? Which sections? I read a lot of the paper online. Washington Post and the New York Times, but not like in an organized way. But I should. What animals scare you the most? Why? I'm not really scared of animals. I'm kind of scared of bugs. Does that count? Are those animals? Those are insects. I don't know. Are you more likely to avoid conflict or engage in it head on? That's a great question. I'm a little bit conflict avoidant, but then I've spent time working as a muggle with some people that were really conflict avoidant, and I no longer think I'm that conflict avoidant. So I don't really like there being lingering stuff. So I tend to try to resolve it. What is the most recent compliment you've received and savored? Ooh. I got really sweet letters today in the mail from people who have been um, wanted me to know how much the leather videos I've been making have meant to them, and really sweet things about what I've been writing. So those were really wonderful to receive and really made my day. What is something about yourself that you hope will change and probably never will? Um, I don't really no, I try not to be self-deprecating. I'm pretty happy with who I am. Are you a creature of habit? Explain. I'm totally a creature of habit. I love to plan things. I like to know what's happening. I like schedules, and I get stressed out when things are not a little bit scheduled in that way, or that I don't know what to expect. I guess more so. What was the last time you really pushed yourself to your physical limits? It's a weird question. I have no idea. I really actually have no idea. Do you have a whole lot of acquaintances or just a few very close friends? Why? I talk to lots of people all the time on the internet, and I love it. And I consider all of those folks to be friends of mine, and people who I really value my connections to. I have a very small, very close, tight inner circle. In addition to that. Okay. Are you more inclined to build your own empire or unleash the potential of others? That's a really weird question. I want to inspire other people to do amazing things in the world and create awesome art. And I want to create art. And I believe that those things should happen simultaneously and are not a either or binary. I also don't consider myself building an empire. That's weird. What is a strange occurrence you've experienced but have never or rarely shared with anyone? There are very few things that I have rarely shared with anyone. I'm, again, kind of an open book. A strange occurrence? I don't know. I believe that the dogs that have been in my life at different times are with me and have at times intervened to bring other dogs into my life or to support me in some way. Um, what do you think about more than anything else? Dogs, Disney, I don't know, dogs probably. What is something that amazes you? Oh my God, everything amazes me. But something that amazed me today are all of the little crocuses that are coming up in my front yard, that are bulbs that we planted in the fall. And I was afraid they had all been dug up by raccoons or possums, both of which live in my neighborhood. And I had dug up some of my bulbs. But there's little sprouts of crocuses and maybe daffodils or tulips, or both. Not sure what those little sprouts are. What is These are a lot of questions. I don't even know how long we've been online, like 20 minutes. Okay, we'll do a couple more. How about that? These are going on. How and when do you prefer to study? I'm going to go with also in how I write. I write in loud places. I wrote most of my books on the subway. Now that I don't commute to my Muggle job, it's amazing. I write with documentaries on, with TV on, with YouTube videos on. I write best with noise around me, and it's how I study too. It drives some people bananas, but it works for me. What is your all-time favorite town or city? I love Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn's amazing. And New York City, amazing. I love it here. I'm sort of just like scrolling now. Some of these are strange. Yeah. So there's like 50 of these, and it's been like 20 minutes. So I'm gonna say that, what position do you sleep in? I'm a side sleeper. I don't know why that's interesting, but hey, you can ask it. Pretty much. You can ask me just about anything and I will answer it. So this is going to be something we're going to do every month. It can be about writing. It can be about my life. It can be about My Little Pony collection, or, whatever. I'll answer it. So until then, I'm going to go. And I hope this was fun. I hope next month I'll have questions from you guys to answer, which will be way more interesting than this mem. And thank you so, so much for supporting my Patreon.